Saber Brand, but they can. They have this playoffs mode for Falcon Saber. So
Oh.
probably they could be more on the aggressive side. Maybe new heroes because they're the first ones to actually introduce Julian. Maybe they have another type of hero that could be on par in this Julian type of strategy.
Okay, so let's look out for that playoffs mode of Falcons AP Bren, ladies and gentlemen, as we get into the drafting phase here for game number 1. We can already see the bans coming through, and it looks like Julian has been left open. It's actually going to be picked up by NIP Flash as they have the first pick.
Okay, so NMP Flash is on the blue side, and then Falcon Saber Brand on the red side. So this is a nice a prioritization already for NMP Flash because we have a high win rate for Julian and a high chance that Falcon Saber Brand will get it. So now that it has been used, probably we could see a Moskov. Zask won't be available, either Moskov or Roger, and an Edith. Or but it's going to be a Minotaur here for Falcons. I think too early for a Minotaur.
We'll see, because right now they've locked in the Minotaur and they also get
Alright.
Zushin, right? Minotaur's win rate hasn't been looking that great, but Zushin's win rate, on the other hand, at 57% is looking mighty nice. And I like the pairings here, because at the end of the day, Zushin's biggest problem is how does she maximize her butterfly stacks, right? How does she get it really, really quick? And the easiest way to do that is if somebody else starts the lockdown
Alright.
so that she can build up those stacks.
If I'm not mistaken, there was also a game where in Falcon Saber Brand was able to get the Shushin paired up with the Minotaur. Okay, so it's really part of their drafting strategy. So now for NIP Flash, they need a hero that could be also up front. We've mentioned that the Edith, even the Roger, but the Moskov could be a nice hero against heroes like, it's going to be Mathilda and the Roger. So this is kind of interesting because it's the first time, or it was chosen once in the totality of our league.
Yeah, it's only been picked once. It's only been banned once. Most people have kind of strayed away from the Matilda this time around, but this would indicate that NIP Flash want to play a relatively fast game, and instead of saying, hey, we're going to answer the Minotaur with more team fight, how about we just disengage from it entirely, allowing individual plays to be more effective for NIP Flash.
And also to add to that, probably they want to go for the fast plays with the Mathilda up front, diving under the turret with a burst from the Julian.
Yeah, that's probably the direction that we're going for. I think this does mean that NIP Flash, do they need a little bit more lockdown in their composition? Maybe a Terizla or something along those lines?
I think Terizla definitely is a pretty good shout, but I think they might get two of them, right? It could be Terizla plus the Edith, some variation of that, because they're going to need some kind of frontliners to buy time. I understand where they're coming from, right? Like NIP Flash is trying to make sure that there's very minimal holes in their gameplay, because if Julian uses all three of his abilities, he has to wait like roughly 8 seconds before he can do that cycle all over again, and in that period of time, he's basically helpless, and Matilda saves him from that problem.
That's true. It's the classic Mathilda play that you could just disengage anytime. So for Falcon Saber Brand, they're focusing on the Phosphors here in terms of the ban. And another Lila, so more on burst. So that is because of the Alpha and even the Minotaur. Probably they are the ones who will get the Edith here for their lineup. But they are doubling down on the sustain side. There's a chance for Falcon Saber Brand that they will get Paquito probably for Flap PZ. But it's going to be Harith here as a ban for NP Flash. So you're left with Beatrix, Claude for Super Marco.
Yeah. I think he's going to go for the Claude most likely, knowing how that a majority of Filipino teams, worst comes to worst, if Claude is available, that's usually their go-to pick, even if it's a losing match, because Claude is always going to be relevant throughout the game, right? Now, let's jump over to Falcons AP Brand. They have first pick here on the red side. We'll see what they're going to go for. Hopefully, they give us an idea of what their composition wants to do, because besides team fight and hard engage, we don't have insurance for the late game.
You know, for Falcon Saber Brand, I think I saw they're choosing between Clint or Carry. So that will be probably good for them. So that's the investment for the late game. But it's still going to be a Claude. The usual Minoans here, and then we'll surprise them with a Blazing Duet, right? So NAP Flash, we're thinking of something that is more on the sustain, just like what Eterna asked earlier, sustain that has a hold, right? That has Krakow. Can be a Terizla, can be an Edith, something like that.
based on what Falcons AP Bren decided to ban out, they want to get rid of independent laners. Valentina has an escape mechanic, Lilia has a guaranteed escape mechanic, so that means that NIP Flash have to pick a mid laner that unfortunately won't have as much mobility as some of the other options that have been banned out. So I'm guessing maybe an anchor like Vexana, for an example.
I agree. I mean, I saw those bans. Of course, other than the argument that you made earlier on, was these are heroes that are very great at wave clear. Okay.
Oh,
okay.
how
All
can
right.
we forget?
So Martis and Barats is going to be the answer here. So what are we looking at? Martis mid lane?
Yep. Darn you, Cartesi's
Yeah.
doing the MSC all over again.
NIP signature here, and this is what made them the third place for MSC, and it's really hard to be up against a Martis mid lane because it has a potential for a snowball, right?
Yep. It has potential for snowball. It has anti-CC, so he plays technically independently, has a very good early game, especially when you're up against Azushi, and it's like, all right, you can stack up as much as you want, but I'm going to beat you down while that happens, and I still have anti-CC to kind of walk away, even if you max stack me.
I agree with that. I think there's a very early game and mid game presence that the Martis does offer, but the range is a big concern for me. But technically, maybe that's what the Matilda was made for. But it looks like Falcons AP Bren, they're going to double down with the glue in the EXP lane. What do we think about this?
Definitely for the glue play here for Falcons AP Bren, it's more of zoning out a specific player prior team fight, probably zone it into a way wherein he won't be part of objective taking, so that's where they could be on the upper hand in terms of that team fight.
And so here we are, ladies and gentlemen, glue in the EXP lane, and we have Martis in the mid lane in true NIP Flash fashion. And of course, both of these picks are going to turn out as one of these teams, unfortunately, will have to be eliminated at the end of this best of 3. So let's kick off and start game numero 2.
This is our second best of 3 elimination at stake with Falcons AP Bren on the red side up against NIP Flash on the blue side. When these games begin, I'm expecting blood super early on, right? Let's see whether we see first bloods anytime soon. No, not just yet. They're both going to be on mirrored sides of the map.
I was expecting to have someone from Falcons AP Bren to go for the vision, probably because they want to go on the route we're in. Who clears the minion wave first? So I expect a lot of pokes at the middle lane here for both our teams. And looking at the emblems, pretty much the usual ones for these heroes. But we could see for NFP Flash that they want to go for the Quantum Charge. So they want faster plays. Again, this is a Martis. You want a snowball. You want to be up fast.
Whoa, Owl trying to take away the River Crab there, putting himself in a lot of danger, but luckily Cartesi able to push out that mid lane really early on. But based off of the emblems, right, a couple of things that I noticed. Owl opted to go for Master Assassin, and Hades, interestingly enough, going for the War Cry. Now, we've seen a lot of, like, Julian play throughout the group stages, some opting to go for Impure Rage, others even going for Quantum Charge.
Probably because there is this synergy if you will go for a Martis, and then you'll have more on the damage side for the Julian. It will be a lot faster for them in terms of execution. So it's something that Falcons AP Bren has to look forward. So there is a change in terms of how they really rotate on this game. We almost see Flap TZ be in front of everyone, but they're just waiting for that perfect counter setup against NIP Flash.
Yeah, I think for the time being, Falcons AP Bren don't want to interact with NIP Flash in the earlier stages of the game because their comp is pretty strong 3-4, but here we go. You see the Mortal Coil is being thrown out by Kyle. He's going to get repositioned immediately after, saved by JPL. Matilda Airways still very effective, but that begs the question, is Adamir in a lot of trouble here? He's max stacked so far. He's trying to clear these waves, but Few is making his life really, really difficult, especially since he can't walk forward. With the help of the glue slow, he can basically not move.
Yeah, and that was a nice juggle, by the way, for Adamir. It's almost a buy time for NFP Flash because the turtle isn't taken yet.
Yep, turtle gets taken by Kyle. They find the first blood here. Cartesi might be in some trouble. His glue is already attached to him. He doesn't want to step into globules. Forced backwards. Has to use the Mortal Coil. Flickers over the turret. And he manages to survive all of it despite Falcons AP Bren consistently CCing him to the ground.
Well, and after everything that happened, there's no casualties, just a turtle taken here. for Falcons AP Bren. So it's a nice usage here of the flicker, by the way, for Flap TZ, right in front of his teammates, and even with that Minowan's roar from motivation roar rather from Ogwen. So again, things are a bit slow, more in pokes here for both of our teams. They want to take up those objectives as much as possible, but we really need to see later on that double laning already from Super Marco, because if in case he isn't able to do that, things might be slow here for Falcon CP Bren.
Very much so. I mean, the fact is that Super Marco is taking not only double lanes, but also opting to take a couple of jungle camps once in a while if these turtle dances are taking way too long. But we did get a taste of what FCAP's overall composition wants to do. They want to really drag out these fights and really force NIP Flash in a position where they don't have the resources to make it happen. But here on that top side, we do finally find first blood as Adamir getting a nice Daytona's welcome to set it up, but he did cost him his flicker.
They're really focusing on Adamir, probably because Adamir is the one who is on the hard sustain side for NFP Flash. Again, for JPL, it's more of a safety net here for the team, more on escaping using that guiding wind. And even the ultimate, or yeah, even the Circling Eagle here for JPL is probably used as something for Adamir. So it is a connection between this Barats and even the Mathilda, but at the same time for Adamir, he has to be careful because again, he is the one that is to set up the play for enemy Flash.
Speaking of setup, once again on top side, Few as well as FlapTZ, making sure that Adamir is going to consistently have max stacks of glue. Just look at FlapTZ, harass him underneath his turret, but Adamir doesn't mind, right? Now that Hades and JPL have some position, they're going to get into the fight as FlapTZ is going to try and zone out as many people as possible, goes into the split. The Motorcross is not letting him get away here, and even with the execution, it wasn't enough. He's still alive as the rest of Falcons AP Bren smash their heads against the wall against NIP Flash. Adamir does get the Daytona's welcome, but it's not enough. He doesn't have any damage to back it up. He ends up dying, and FCAP just showing you the zone control.
Yeah, and even layering of skills here of Falcons AP Bren is really on point, right? Because they are forcing a team fight, yes, but at the same time, it's more of a controlled aggression wherein they know who can burst easily as much as possible, and they know that the mobility of this Barretts is not as fast as compared to the other players or heroes of NIP Flash. So they just zone out Adamir and focus on bringing him down because they are already able to secure an objective against them.
Adamir is going to lose relevance throughout this game, right? He's not a scaling EXP laner. He's just one big tank that's good early to mid, and his big play makes are based off of his battle spells. With that being said, Falcons AP Bren do take a tier 1 down bot side.
And we gotta also consider for NFP Flash, TZ now has the Sky Piercer. So they might want to do a play now against Falcons AP Bren. Again, they need to group up. Okay.
Super Marco looks like he just gets locked down, getting chased by everyone. Even Ogwen can do nothing about it, helplessly watching his gold laner die.
Just when we said that NFP Flash needs to do a play now, they just did. So that is a nice skill there for NFP Flash, and things are still looking good for Falcons AP Bren. Now for NFP Flash, they need to convert objectives now against Falcons AP Bren. Probably go for a split push or have Adamir be part of the team fight and give space for Owl. Things for Owl, he is second to Super Marco's gold, or for the totality of the gold, by the way, second to Super Marco. So Owl has the Wind Talker now. Can go for a defensive item here, maybe a Thunder Belt also, which would be nice for him. So NFP Flash focusing on limiting here the gold lead of Falcons AP Bren.
Yeah, I think that NFP Flash eventually need to find some kind of momentum. Right now, FlapTZ, once again, being annoying, zoning out Hades, and as well as JPL, goes into that split form. Hades cannot get anywhere close to this turtle, but in the meantime, Kurt has been taking plenty of damage, as now we do see that Hades getting yoinked back with the help of Glue, securing that kill. Falcons AP Bren call it 2-2 so far as we go into this pause. Overall, I think that this matchup it's looking kind of difficult for NIP Flash. Like, the items that they're building is aggressive. They're looking for big burst damage, and even the Sky Piercer hasn't gotten much value just yet.
You know what? I feel like for NIP Flash, they are a bit intimidated of the aggression from Falcons AP Bren, and at the same time, because they are intimidated, they're just reacting on what the Falcons AP Bren has been doing against them. There's no counter or cross-map play. There's no split push happening for them. And that is because of the nature of their lineup also. They want to do 5v5s, you want to do setup plays, but it's not that effective.
Okay, we're going to be resuming soon, but it gives us a little bit of time. I mean, I think that Falcons AP Bren, they're playing very sharp today. Their laning phase especially, not giving a lot of advantages over to NIP Flash so that they have that kind of tempo. Once again, Kyle and as well as Flap just zoning off Adamir and as well as JPL. They cannot defend this purple buff in the meantime, which is, well, it doesn't really matter to Hades, but he would rather to keep even level with Kyle.
Yeah, everything is looking nice here for Falcons AP Bren. And this is the space we're talking about for NEP Flash. As long as Owl has that good laning phase for him, it's going to be easy for them. So for Falcons AP Bren, they need to focus now on stopping Owl. But yeah, there's a setup play.
Yep, he's going to get pulled on backwards. Owl really caught out of position here. Can't do much about it. Tries to get pulled away by the Circling Eagle once again. Ends up dying to Kyle regardless. Good play as the Minoan's Fury is out. Pulling them underneath the turret. This could be big for them as Hades finds one with the enhanced swords. It is Kyle as well as Curtis getting involved in the mix. If he can just find one execution, it could be enough. But Kurt goes down with the help of Super Marco. It's going to be Kyle who secures that double. 4 for 1 in favor of Falcons AP Bren. You know what? Let's make it a full wipeout as Spear of Alpha comes out as well. Unstoppable for Kyle TZ.
This is what we're saying that it is Falcons AP Bren on the playoffs mode. They're just going places against NFP Flash. They know what to do. They know where to focus. And when we said that Owl should be now the target of Falcons AP Bren, they just shifted their play on that lane and limited again the resources of NFP Flash. And what's also good for Falcons AP Bren is that they are continuously moving on these areas wherein NFP Flash could actually lessen the lead of the goal. So the economy just now is at 4,800 lead, and now 5,000 for Falcons AP Bren. So NEP Flash, they might want to do a play wherein they will single out a player against Falcons AP Bren, but it's going to be difficult for them. But they can go for that Circling Eagle and then a Retribution for Hades for the Lord Steel.
Yep, and here we go once again. Adamir just getting slowed. Max stacks from Glue, making sure that he's keeping. Oh wait, nearly getting 2 there, forcing JPL to use his ult the super early on. Daytona's Welcome is going to hop him over the wall, so he doesn't get pulled back in time, but with the help of the airlines, he's able to reposition. But Minoan's Fury does come out. They don't find a kill just yet, as Falcons AP Bren have already secured the Lord. They're going to take this tier 2 very shortly as Kyle finds Hades. He's out of position now, but the rest of his team is here to back him up, and he's able to max stacks with the help of the War Axe to keep himself alive. Kyle knows he has a lead, and he demands respect.
You know what, Gideon, we really have to commend how Ogwen is playing on this game. It's as if he's a leader. He's not forcing any team fight we're in. It will be disadvantages for them. He uses that motivation roars so good that for NFP Flash, it's really hard to shred those damages against them, and that's gonna be a godlike here for Kyle TZ.
This is too difficult, right? They don't have very good high ground defense, and against this Zushin, it's impossible to get in front of her, especially with the bodyguards around her, whether it be Ogwen or even Flap. They're just too thick for them to get cut through. And now they're going to be knocking on to the Crystal as the next inhibitor might just be falling here. They're looking for the kill on towards JPL's side, who saves Owl and repositions him. But Falcons AP Bren, they can sit here forever with the help of that motivational roar. And even few buying extra utility items in that Ice Queen's wand is going to make it even harder for NIP Flash to stay away.
Yeah, they're even buying the Winter Crown, but yeah, for Falcons AP Bren, it's more of controlled aggression again.
Yup, it's him backwards. Orwitch trying to get on out of there. Does flicker with motivational roar, as well as Super Marco just blowing them through a double kill. They're making it look easy this time as Kyle can just tank every single turret. And now with the Winter Crown, he's able to dive freely. If they just want to farm for KDA, they could have broken the Crystal anytime they wanted to. And that's just game 1.
What a fast game by Falcons AP Bren. Almost flawless for that performance. I didn't expect that NP Flash would be just reactive